Hi, everybody.
Hey everybody, welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and Banshee and Bly. Bly is going to be sitting on the sidelines today as we tackle some important issues.
Indeed.
So I'm going to set Bly down.
Right, as the sign says, we're here for the special prediction of the U.S. midterm elections. We've devised several questions.
And we want answers,
We
don't
want
we?
answers.
So yes, we don't shy away from the tricky stuff, and also, we just want to get a beat on what might be occurring, give everybody some things to think about, and hopefully keeping it as objective as we possibly can.
All right.
It's never easy. So keep that in mind. And other tarot readers may look at these cards, and also depending on even your own political persuasions, you may look at the cards a little bit differently, whatever works for you.
And if you want to give us that feedback at all, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
You can leave a comment here on this
Constructive
video.
feedback only, please. We know this is,
Right, we're not looking for,
arguing.
inflamed arguments.
And remember, we're just tarot readers, entertainers.
That's right. It's a snapshot in time, and
we go with what our intuition says.
We're not political analysts, professionals by any sort. We're not medical. We're not legal. We're not forensics. We're just here.
We're just us.
We're just us.
That's
Oberon
right.
and Banshee.
Here you go, Shuffle Mr. O. We have devised a series of questions, and the first one's a little bit vague. We just want to get a bead on the atmosphere, what's happening with the Democrats. Well, actually, the Republicans first. 3 cards for the Democrats. So we're going to pull those, I think. Well, yeah, we should pull those together, 3 and 3. And then there'll be a little extra thing added to each of these for some nuance. I'll get into that when we get there. So this may give an idea of who may be winning, who may be doing better than the other party. We'll see. All right. The Republicans. Oh my gosh. Now you saw us shuffling right in front of you, right? Okay. We have the first card is the Devil card. I don't want to get into it yet. I think we should lay all 3 of these out here. This might be a little bit trickier, Mr. O, because we're doing 3 and 3, but Let's see what we can do. Well, they've got their wish. The 9 of Cups is here. They want it bad. I did say I wasn't going to get into it, and there I go. I'm sorry. And number 3 is the Ace of Swords reversed.
All right.
All right. I want to take a look at this first. We can examine this in depth together and see what this may mean for the Republican Party as it stands without the extra little nuance we're going to give it. But that is so bright, Mr. O.
Well, I'm sorry. I needed more light over here.
If I'm washed out, I will complain.
Well, let's see. Or... Is that better?
Yes.
I mean, bright light on you.
Yes. It's better.
Okay. So it's probably worse for that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you knocked it too when you were shuffling. I kept wondering.
Whoa. So let's take a look at the Republicans before we move to the Democratic side and see that we have the Devil to begin with here. They feel, I don't know, there's an oppression or a heaviness or a feeling of entrapment, bondage.
I think that to some degree, the Republicans have put themselves in a corner because they always say they're the party of law and order. And so this sort of takes that to the extreme, the idea of sort of an oppressive
Well,
society, perhaps.
it's also come, you notice this guy, he has his hands outstretched here, right? Come to our side. I think they're really trying to coerce people to come to their side as much as possible. They are hoping to achieve their aims. It looks as though, I mean, I could say that they're hoping to get their wish and their desire to maybe take over the House and the Senate, whatever the case may be.
Well, it could be that maybe that just represents their sense of their purity of their desire too, because of course either political party feels that they are the ones who are more on the right or have more of the better idea for the course of our nation.
And finally, we have, though, the Ace of Swords reversed. The Ace of Swords reversed oftentimes refers to a setback or an empty victory. I mean, they may achieve something, but it seems hollow in the end, or incomplete, or delayed.
Well, sometimes, too, the Ace of Swords could just represent sort of barbarity in a sense, too, and sort of the sense of using our might for overly aggressive purposes to win things. But in this sense, it doesn't seem like it's a true winning.
Yeah, I wonder about this. This is very concerning to me, but I don't know what it means exactly. It could mean that they fail. It could mean that they fail, that all of their attempts to try to coerce people to their side doesn't, in the goals of obtaining all the power their wish,
the wish card.
Right, and it's very, material. As far as the cups go, I think I look at this one as more material desires, and it may fail. I mean, or there might be decisions that go against them. That's the other part of this card I hadn't thought about, is that, they may not be satisfied with the results.
There you go.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will explore results later, in this idea of will things be accepted. Let's look at the Democrats now, shall we? Well, we have the 9 of Cups for the Republicans, and for the Democrats, we've got the 10 of Cups as their first card. The second card is another upright card, but remember, we had 2 upright cards here as well. The Chariot is upright. This could be tough. Can I fit it? Oh, perfect. Oh my gosh. It'll be a little bit scrunched. We'll go over them again. Oh my gosh. And the third card is upright. We have the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands is upright. This is really a lot of movement, motion.
Put it on the lower ground there.
On the ground there?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll work. If I can stand it. There.
Right. It looks like really there's an establishment here of a lot of heartfelt family feeling, a connectedness that says we're taking care of everybody, the sense of legacy of really feeling everybody is connected and part of a big family. And it takes a lot of morale and really challenging oneself and saying, I want to be that person that drives and unites these forces. That's the Chariot. And aim true. So these all look like really positive attitudes or perhaps indications of their move towards success in the election.
I know, with the Chariot here too, I don't know what to say here because the polls have been showing it being very tight. I don't know if I see that here. Between these cards that I see. What I would say is that right now it looks like to me when I see the 10 of Cups here, I get the distinct feeling that the Democrats are pulling themselves together. There is like an impetus to rally together, to come together. The Chariot is indicating forward momentum. It's almost as if, the Democratic side has a lot of momentum right now, which is really interesting to me because the Republicans have been very successful in selling, the crime angle and the inflation angle right now. The Democrats have been primarily focusing on, women's rights,
Human
abortion,
rights, civil
reproductive
rights.
rights, and democracy. And it just seems like the momentum that might be the driving momentum. The Eight of Wands here shows a lot of energy. It's almost as if everybody is motivated to get out there and vote on the Democratic side. Is it more so than on the Republican side, where maybe some people might be feeling they are being forced or coerced or manipulated to vote? That devil is a little bit of a problematic card in the upright position, and combining that with the Ace of Swords
Very
reversed.
nice, very nice.
So now we're going to throw a couple of wild cards. We wanted to kind of look at how non-voters or people who vote third party might influence either side. So first I'm going to draw a card for the Republican side. Wow. Actually, the Republicans might benefit by the fact that some people are not voting, or the fact that, third party, people are voting third parties. Maybe it will go more against the Democrats in that regard than the Republicans.
Well, it's interesting to note,
It
too,
is.
that for many decades, of course, Republicans always considered themselves the big tent, i.e., everybody's welcome. And so this could be also a draw in their favor, too, by being able to appeal to non-voters or third-party voters that they're the big tent you should join.
So what this might tell me is that their success may depend upon what that third party and the non-voters do, right?
The perception of happiness and being a big open tent.
Oh, it's magnified by this card. We have the Three of Swords here for the Democrats. So, could this be the thing that causes some havoc? Could this be the thing with the Democrats that cause problems? It's the Three of Swords upright. There's some sorrow and disappointment here. Perhaps, if more people came out to vote, or if more people did not decide, I don't like any of these candidates, I'm voting third party, it might have made a difference for the Democrats in some of these key races. May not be all of them, because for some reason still, I can't lose sight of the fact that the Democrats seem to have more momentum going their way than I feel is here. They definitely have the drive, and they definitely want to own it. They want to achieve their wish, but I think this right here is the problem. So that's really interesting looking at these cards. Do you want to add something to that?
Thank you.
Oh.
Well, to me then, that Three of Swords may be, the conventional wisdom is always that independent voters or third-party voters hurt Democrats more than they hurt Republicans. So this could be a sign of that. But if we're talking also about the non-voters, this could also be saying the same too, that the thing that brings non-voters to finally vote may be something that doesn't favor Democrats.
It's interesting to me. I'm just going to say right now from my end of things, and you might have a different perspective to share, I'm going to give the Democrats the slight edge in this election. However, here's the caveat. I don't think the power is going to change appreciably much. And therefore, I feel that if the Republicans are on the slightly short end of the stick, that's why they're losing. But they may make some key gains. I do feel, I don't know if they will overtake the House or not, but I'm having a feeling they might hold the Senate. I'm just intuiting here, that the Democrats might hold the Senate. And maybe they will make some appreciable gains in the House, but it might not be enough to break this tide. But the Democrats aren't going to be completely happy with their results either.
Well, I have to agree with you on that, Banshee. I sort of feel that, 40-some years of voting myself and the conventional wisdom of looking back in the rear view mirror at many elections, it always seems to me that very seismic big changes are few, really, and that usually the changes maybe sort of mitigate each other when we change a major part of the electorate's, decision to go from one party to the other. Sometimes it mitigates the other votes downstream or parallel to that.
I mean,
so the change
yeah.
may not be sweeping. It just may give either party maybe little nudges or advantages.
And I do understand that, what they say about, the conventional wisdom of these midterms, that are not attached to a presidential race.
It could be really hooey right now.
It could go, to the other team Republican. And it's possible. But, it would be groundbreaking in a way if the Democrats were able to hold or make gains. I'm feeling it is going to be a struggle on either side. And not everybody is going to be happy with the way things turn out. So let's take a look. This was probably the most complicated, I think, of the readings we're doing. So we're just going to be throwing 3 cards for the rest. And I guess I'll have you shuffle first for this one. This next one is an interesting question I think we are all concerned about, is how election day itself. Will things go smoothly, or will there be disruptions? Disruptions of various sorts. People not being able to vote, there's long lines, polls close. Will people deliberately sabotage things? Will there be violence? We're just going to look at election day and see what comes out.
Vote challengers.
Well, that's
later. That cause
that's
disruption.
Later.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't mean challenges to the vote totals. I mean challenges to voters.
Right. They may
Poll
be people.
watching.
That's true. Poll watchers. That would be included in this. You're right, Mr. O. I forgot about that. Thank you.
So if all goes well, you'll be watching this on Sunday evening. That's the 6th of November. We didn't want to have it like on that last day before the election. And of course, it wouldn't be valuable to do it on the day of the American election. So we figured, 2 nights before would be a good way for people to take the measure.
To do what? Number one, we do not want to discourage anybody from going to the polls. Please vote. No matter how these things turn out, your vote is essential, no matter which way.
Nor are we trying to influence you how to vote. This is purely what we do as prognosticasts, as speculative tarot card readers. And we just found out earlier that there's a few people who come to our live streams but didn't know that we also do these. So if you are viewing and at all interested, do look at our other playlists. We have playlists on previous elections and previous American, British, world predictions of concern.
Basically, what he's saying is we do politics, we do government, we do predictions, we do the Super Bowl. So keep that in mind if you want, to check out our other content. And there'll be more of this type of content. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's look at election day. 3 cards. Let's see what we get.
So what's it going to be like?
Oh, boy. We have the 9 of Swords, the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is reversed. It's card number 1. We have the 6 of Cups reversed. That's card number 2. And we have the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords is upright. This is, I think it's how it really encapsulates, I think, how we all feel about this.
We're going to need some rest when this is over with.
We can't wait till this is over with. It will be such a relief. Oh my goodness. Well, let's take a look here for better or worse. And I'm worried about this Nine of Wands here. It's almost as if some people are giving up the fight. Are some people going to give up on voting? Are some people going to put up the white flag of surrender? I don't know. Or is there going to be some kind of struggle? This is kind of worrisome seeing this card. What do you make
There's
of
a
that?
sense here that maybe people will feel a number of emotions. Some people will feel like they put their belief that they could change something they didn't, and so they're very depressed that they did not win or protect their say in the matter. And that could be on either side of this. So
You know,
there's always somebody.
it could be on either side. Go
Right.
on.
I mean, there's always somebody who will feel like their side failed, and their side, wasn't strong enough to defend. Go
I'm
on.
not trying to rush you much.
Go on. You have a better thought than me, so it's okay.
No, I wanted to tie it into this card because it does apply, I feel, to both parties. You know, the Six of Cups is feeling very, looking back at the past with trepidation, negative experiences from the past. For example, how the last election went. There are those who have denied it and deny it still to this day. There are those who are worried because of all the conflict and discord and problems that came, like January 6th, the problems that happened with the last election, that everybody's pensive and nervous. They have, I think people going to the polls have that on their minds as they go.
Well, I know that sometimes, one party is accused of wanting to live in the past more than the other, but this could be saying that either party regrets having to
It's
be
either.
forced back to a past that neither of them like. And it could
Right.
be different points in time. It could be different points in the political landscape at those times. So I sort of feel like this is a sense that someone will also feel this too, that they feel that now they are consigned to going backwards or living in a past that they were trying to not live in.
So this could be fueling this, There's a lot of people. I'm really hoping this does not keep people away from the polls, That's what's worrying me. Some people may be intimidated and fearful of what they're going to face there, and that's why we maybe had a lot of early voting already, because people did not want to deal with potential problems on election day. I'm looking too at this Four of Swords with a little bit of worry because, it's a card of rest and recuperation. What are we recuperating from? Is there going to be struggles? Is there going to be violence? Is there going to be discord? I think there's some reason we all feel like we have to pull back.
This is definitely about a contraction that maybe happens as the results of the election or the process experience of election day is over. There is going to be this sort of contraction, like now comes the hardest part of all, waiting to see who says who won, what won, that kind of thing. And I'm looking in the little nest there, and I see this sort of thread attached to a heart.
Yeah.
And I get the idea of Ariadne who left a thread so that Theseus and the tribute could find their way back out of the maze. And I'm thinking this is saying hold on to some of your heartfelt expectations, because no matter what happens, we can still find a way to pull ourselves back to our center, our heart. We just have to believe that we need to take this time to evaluate and process all this.
I'm going to throw another thing out there I want you to think about too and tell me what you think of this. I'm wondering here if it's because of everybody's bad experiences in the last election that people are losing the people don't want to fight. That maybe people don't want to fight.
Right.
It's possible that because of that, they will hold back, they will retreat a little bit and withhold like any anger, resentment till the results come in, right? So, maybe that's the caveat here, is it could go either way. I'm a little concerned that there could be some problems, but on the other hand, maybe it's because of all of these bad memories of what both parties have just experienced, that we will maybe give up the idea of making a fight out of this. on election day itself, during the process of voting. But we'll see. There's lots of
Well,
strange things
when
going
when
on.
it comes to the idea of fighting and really strident and expectant emotions, I have really talked with a few people who, no matter what their position is, they do sort of feel like the level of animosity and divisiveness that we have in our society towards each other. It's not all one side. It's
Mhm.
not all the other side. We can talk about degrees about that, but that kind of hatred or animosity or divisiveness cannot be maintained over the long time, and that maybe people will naturally begin to move away from this level of divisiveness after the election. So it would be nice a result for everyone to be able to find a way to dial it down.
Dial it
Absolutely.
down. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So hopefully that last card means that ultimately we will recover from this crazy election cycle. So now let's ask a really important question. And it's going to be 3 cards again. I don't think we really need to do any yes no's here, Mr. O. Will the results be accepted or will there be challenges? Once results start coming in, and some of them may take days, they said, with all the different ways people are voting, etc., it's not going to be the same day for everybody.
Well, without people conceding uh, and with the idea that maybe there could be challenges, it could take much longer and it could be really a painful thing for the nation to have to endure.
And the sad thing is, let's throw the media under the bus here. It's the media is always wanting to be the first one to get the results out. And sometimes it can be wrong, but everybody wants to go and do it, and be that first one. How about, we just wait till all the results are in before we make our judgments? Oh, there's a bend in one of my new cards.
Is it that card?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's definitely not. That's a different problem. We have 2 of these Lake Sears decks, and this is my newer one. We've been using it too much. There you go. All right. Cut them for me, Mr. O. And again, the question is, will results of the election be accepted or will there be challenges? And, it's a good question to ask because there are already some people who are saying they will, they won't answer the question. I mean, they literally won't answer the question whether they will challenge it or not. And others are acting like they'll only not challenge it if they win. All right. Well, hooray. There's that 9 of Cups again.
I like it.
I do too. And there's the King of Cups. Oh, and there's the Sun reversed. Well.
Use your room there. You got plenty of room.
Got it. Well, overall, I think there's going to be some disappointment. There's going to be some people who are going to have some issues dealing with their defeat. But ultimately, I really feel that maybe overall, both maybe people who are on one side or the other, are going to be fairly satisfied enough with the results that they won't challenge it that much. Which means, they win some, they lose some. Maybe. And the King of Cups here is kind of indicating to me that, maybe more balanced emotions will prevail. What do you think?
Well, I'd like to think that, but I don't inherently believe it. That I do feel
I
that
know. It's tough right now.
I think this is the point where we find that maybe both parties really are so pent up over this that it will be hard seeing where the middle ground or consensus is. But I'd like to feel that what the cards signify is that we find out a lot about ourselves as a people. That's the sun. And what that is we're finding out, though, isn't not necessarily the best stuff to find out because the sun's reversed there. But that, as Banshee said, ultimately somehow a better peaceful appreciation of what we want, our wish card, and our ability to give it. That's the King of Cups, the idea of somebody who is giving and not expecting necessarily to receive. That maybe this is the idea that a good victory in the right area would make a lot of magnanimousness really pervade the electorate.
And you know, and this is the thing about tarot. You can see so many different things when you approach these cards. Like, for example, I'm looking at this again and I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, if we can keep calm, balance our emotions, perhaps if our leaders show restraint and balanced emotions in the face of, you know, achieving their goals. You know, everybody wants to win, right? Everybody wants to win. But can you keep yourself balanced enough to accept it if you don't win? And so, see, I'm looking at this progression here and wondering about that. This is the real thing we need to have happen. And in a civil society, that's what should happen here. There are winners and there are losers. And the bottom line here, the sun reversed, is indicating that, I don't know, there's a bit of uncertainty. There is a bit of cloudiness here. It may be that what this is saying is it's going to be situational. You know, there will be some who will be able to accept. There will be others who won't. I don't know.
And that's the way it goes in a kind of, you know, society where there are basically two sides,
Yeah.
you know, in governance.
Yeah. Well, we're just going to have to wait and see on this one. It's up in the air. I would like to think there's more positive energy than negative, but I think a lot is going to depend on how maybe the leaders in both parties respond. Because, you know, if they respond badly, it could spell failure. It could spell, you know, problems, people being upset.
All right.
Final question, everybody. What we decided to figure out is, how will the country move forward once the election results are in the can? You know, challenges are done, whatever, everything is done. So, you know, by the looks of the last one, there may not be challenges. It might be that we can wrap this up and move forward. How are we going to move forward? Is it going to be positive? Is there going to be negativity? Or a little of both. Cool. Uh-oh. Wow. My shuffling. It's a mess. All right. Our first card is the Magician reversed. Our second card is the King of Pentacles reversed. Our third card is the Four of Cups, and it's upright. Well, I think it's going to be fairly rocky. tricky, in the beginning, at any rate. Moving forward, maybe through the end of this year, is going to be a little bit tough. The King of Pentacles reversed almost seems like there is a loss of control. There's a lack of control. There's a lack of leadership. There seems to be confusion. This is kind of worrisome to me considering the last reading about, whether there will be challenges or not. It's almost as if there is some disarray. And it's as if, I hate to say it, and I'm not going to point fingers here because each side thinks the other one is being manipulative, deceptive, whatever. But let's just call it like we see it with the Magician reversed here. It's indicating that there are people doing sleight of hand, sneaky behavior to try to achieve their aims, taking shortcuts or not following, not being very ethical. That's really what it amounts to.
It's a bad use of their highly adaptive powers of concentration and manifestation. And clearly with that Magician reversed, it's all about ego, I think.
Yes.
There's so much ego here, especially you throw in the reversed King of Pentacles, the idea of a covetous nature, I guess you would say. And, we all know that there are admonitions against coveting, but boy, it sure seems like, either of the parties, but certainly maybe we can say one more than the other at times, really can't let go of their power positions. And it seems like where it goes is that strategy towards figuring out what next to do. The Four of Cups there. Maybe the idea is for that bent to figure out where to find the advantage or where to find a way forward.
Yeah, I haven't tackled the Four of Cups yet. I'm going to go back to the King of Pentacles a little bit and wondering that maybe, this week might be a very turbulent one for the markets. And moving forward, as we progress after the election, there could be some financial issues, some things happening in the financial world that may impact on things as well. And, like I said, these two cards together are kind of not what I want to see going forward. The other thing is that the Four of Cups here, to me, could indicate almost sort of like what Mr. O is saying. Where are we going to take this now? Where are we going to go moving forward? There are opportunities for growth. Are we going to do it, or are we going to sit back to business as usual? Is it going to be business of division and, chaos as usual? Or are we going to take the opportunity, being presented by the results, however they turn out, and try to be constructive moving forward? Wow, it just doesn't totally seem to answer the question, except for the fact that I feel ego, like he said, and, trickery or manipulation or unethical behavior is going to be problematic moving forward.
Right. In the immediate aftermath, that reverse King of Pentacles could be talking about mismanagement of things too. And like we might find that there is some problem with actual voting situations, asking for recounts or integrity of the process.
This is the time we have to decide, after the election's over, we're going to see something, we're going to be questioning whether our leaders really truly have our best interests at heart or whether they have their own interests at heart. Yeah,
that's so Magician reversed, yeah.
That's what we have. There you have it. Mixed bag for sure, and a little bit of uncertainty. But hey, get out and vote. Get out and be a part of the process of deciding, this is our future and what you want it to be.
And of course, within reason, leave your own commentary here. We're not asking for people to hate on us or hate other people. We try to be as nonpartisan as possible in this outlook, but obviously we do have our own feelings about the election, or all elections are about politics in general. So we can agree to disagree And maybe in a week we can look at this and say, it wasn't so bad.
Let's hope so. Let's hope for the best, everyone. Hey, thank you for joining us, watching the video, and good luck.
Give us a like, give us a share, subscribe if you haven't.
Good luck and keep the faith. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.